Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kata and I'm talking about the upcoming full moon and lunar eclipse, that we're going to be having in the sign of Scorpio this Friday, which is May the 5th. This is big deal energy. Once again, we have an eclipse. This time it is a lunar eclipse. Last time it was a solar eclipse that we had in April, just a few weeks ago. So this is happening on May the 5th at 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be sitting at 14 degrees of Scorpio. This is the first and the only full moon that we are going to have in the sign of Scorpio for all of 2023. So like I said, this is a big deal. The full moon will be bringing up a lot from the past for us. It is also going to be encouraging you to look at feelings and situations that you have suppressed. So all the stuff that we have been shutting down, not willing to look at, not willing to feel, not willing to go into within ourselves, all of those emotions, those buried emotions, are going to be coming up for review, for going back over for evaluation, and to really take a hard look at those emotions and how we have dealt with them or not dealt with them in the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. So lots of different things are going to be coming up for a lot of people. This is all happening though so that you can move forward into the rest of spring with a clear mind and a clear heart. So this is all about clearing the head and the heart space. Scorpio rules our emotions. Scorpio is a water sign, so water signs always rule emotions. So this is definitely going to be playing on our emotions in a huge way over the coming days and weeks to follow. So what have you buried within yourself? This is a question to ask yourself at this time, and something that you can perhaps journal about on Friday during this full moon and lunar eclipse. Can you look at it honestly and with compassion for yourself? Can you allow yourself to feel those feelings that you have been suppressing without judging them, without trying to shove them back down? And can you allow yourself to communicate it, to release the burden and pressure from holding it down or from holding it within? So for some people, it's going to be about communication, about finally saying something about whatever has been bothering you or whatever has been just really pushed down within you. You may have been holding back emotions when it comes to a certain individual. You may have been holding your tongue for, different issues or whatnot at the workplace. These are all things that are going to be now coming up for you to really look at them, stop pushing them down, and figure out a way to communicate them, to say them. So that is what this Scorpio full moon is going to assist us in doing, which is a really good thing, because when we release, when we are willing to let go of those emotional burdens that we have shoved down for long periods of time, we really open ourselves up. We give ourselves space. We create space within ourselves. We allow ourselves to heal. We allow ourselves to purge those things out, because usually these energies are very heavy within us, right? If you think about it, anything that you suppress or shove down is going to build heaviness. It's going to start to have a weight to it because you're not willing to look at it, because you're perhaps judging those feelings, or because you're perhaps not willing to process those feelings and figure a way to purge them out. So think of the burden and the pressure that you are releasing for yourself at this time by doing this. So the spiritual aspects of the moon represent our deep emotional tides. The moon also representing our emotions and the motion of our emotions, right? Because the moon, think about how the moon affects our waters and how the oceans rise and fall back, right? Like the ebb and flow of tides, right? That's all influenced by the moon. So when we think of the concept, or not the concept, but when we think about the reality that our bodies are 70 to 80% water, can you imagine how much movement there is happening, how much of a flow there is going on based on whatever the moon is doing? It's constantly influencing those emotions, right? So the moon in Scorpio can have a powerful and profound effect on the mind and our feelings, because it's strongly influencing our deepest emotions, our memories, and our desires. So these three areas are something that you may be experiencing right now. There could be memories coming up for you, things that like almost like flashbacks or deja vu, or just different things kind of coming up for you that you're remembering, perhaps from a long time ago, perhaps from your childhood. It could be things that were difficult. It could be things that were traumatic. These definitely would be coming up at this time. If you have been suppressing those feelings for a long time, then it's going to be coming up for you at this time to release and to really be willing to look at it and like, well, how do I need to perceive this situation or this emotion or this feeling that I'm suppressing so that I can look at it from a completely different angle and heal it. And heal it within myself. So now let's talk a little bit about the eclipse. So what does the eclipse itself represent, and what does it really mean for us at this time, and how is it going to be influencing us during the Scorpio full moon? So what does the eclipse actually signify in astrology? So let's talk about that first. We all incarnate here on planet Earth for a soul or a life purpose, call it whichever you like. And when you wander off your track or that trajectory that you're supposed to be on or that mission that you're supposed to fulfill, when you wander off too far, then eclipse energy will often push us back to the path. It will push us and guide us back to where we should be moving so that we can stay on track with our soul's mission, right? Because your soul's only desire is to fulfill its mission for this lifetime. It knew exactly before it came to planet Earth, before you were born, it knew exactly what it wanted to accomplish in this lifetime, the things that it wanted to learn, and how it was going to grow and develop further. And now it's wanting to fulfill that. It wants to complete that mission and that process. So eclipses always remind us, they always push us back on path. And sometimes this can be abrupt. Sometimes this can be very intense. And sometimes it can be very challenging the way that it does this, because this is what I would call like reality check or a wake up call. That's the type of energy that this Scorpio lunar eclipse has, because it's really wanting us to bust out of our comfort zones. It's really pushing us to overcome certain limitations within ourselves that are preventing us from moving forward, that are constantly hitting the brakes and not allowing us to take the steps that we need to really accomplish everything that we want to accomplish, or just to experience the things that we want to experience, right? Again, going back to the suppressed emotions and feelings, there are so many things that go unexpressed, right? And like I said, this could be with coworkers, this could be with family, this could be with friends, with partnerships, with spouses. Like there are so many things that we shove down because we judge those things or those perceptions or those feelings that we have. And that's not right. That's not healthy. This is the time to communicate it. This is the time to be really bold and just go for it and say what you need to say. And you can say it in a loving, beautiful, peaceful kind of way. This isn't about creating conflict. This is about actually resolving conflict. So how much are you willing to open up? How much are you willing to say? And how much are you willing to be vulnerable and to expose yourself? That's really what the Scorpio full moon is asking us. So eclipses are generally, they always have some kind of life-changing energy with them. So it's a time when we need to make changes, big changes usually. Changes that we have felt that we have needed to make for a while but haven't acted on. And these changes need to be made so that we can usher in this evolution to realign with our soul's purpose and correct our personal path if it needs to be corrected. So take a moment, this week and really evaluate over the next couple of days of where your life is at this moment and what part of it needs revamping. We're also in Mercury retrograde, plus Pluto just went retrograde a few days ago. So we have already a couple of retrogrades happening, which is definitely already pushing us to go back over things, reevaluate, reconsider, relearn. There's all kinds of different things that are going on behind the scenes that are really supporting this Scorpio full moon at this time and these energies to it's like, this is like a push. It's a push for our soul to reconnect, to connect with the right people, to connect with the right groups, to find our soul tribe, to find our soul mission, right? To connect with the right work, with the right relationships, right? This is also going to be a time where, people might be breaking up and going through separation because you finally have come to the end of your rope, and you're going to tell your spouse, like, oh, that's it, I'm done. I've been holding this in for a while. I've been putting up with shit, and it's like nothing's changing, whatever. And that's it. And it's time for us to separate, right? So this could be very fated, very necessary changes that we may make in our lives, and they're going to be big changes. So a lot of these changes that these eclipses usually trigger within us are not small. They're pretty significant and life-changing for sure. So this eclipse is also reminding us that it's also time to take action. So, and align yourself with the universe, not just sitting by and letting life happen. So it's really important that we become proactive at this time as well. Mercury retrograde, which I've talked about in a previous video, is again about going back over things. It's about figuring out what doesn't work any longer for us, and really pushing us to reevaluate like every aspect of our lives at this time. So the taking action part, again, it needs to come from your heart. It needs to come from your soul. It needs to be driven by passion, by motivation, by inspiration. So this is not a time to take, uncalculated action. This is definitely more of taking action where you feel guided, where you feel like the universe is just pushing you, and you know it because you've been feeling it for quite some time. That's the type of action that this Scorpio full moon and lunar eclipse is pushing us to take. So make sure you really think about everything, and it's not about impulsiveness. It's truly about just following that inner guidance that you feel within your heart and within your soul that is calling you to make this change or to take this action. This is why an eclipse can be absolutely life-changing. And within the next 4 to 6 week time period that is affected basically by this lunar eclipse, is supercharged, creating the probability of life-altering or direction-changing events to occur for most people. So like I said, a lot of people are going to be experiencing big changes in their life at this time. And it's perfect. It's springtime. This is a time to change. This is a time to purge. This is a time to shed, to clear, to cleanse, to renew and rebirth ourselves, right? So the only way that you can do that is if you really purge, is if you let go of the heavy baggage, if you let go of the things that are no longer serving you, and pushing them out of your life so that you can really create space. Because what I'm recognizing more than anything within my own life is that I just need to make space to allow certain things to come into my life, to allow certain energy to show up in my life, right? I have to make space for that. And to make space for that, I need to clear out the toxic thinking, the negative, obsessive thinking patterns, and like all the different self-sabotaging things that I do that are not allowing me to create space. So during a lunar eclipse, your emotions and your subconscious patterns will be revealed, coming to the surface for you to look at and deal with. Being in the sign of Scorpio, it will have us facing the depth of our shadows and revealing the truth of our soul. This is scary, intense, and it's full of raw emotions. So this is, kind of a deep dive into your shadow side a little bit. Scorpio definitely represents shadow side as well. So, and the emotions of the shadow side. So it's a deep dive into that and taking a look at that. It is facing fears. It is facing all of the shadow within that we often suppress and push to the back burner and don't really want to look at or give any attention to. All in the meanwhile, it's simultaneously back there, dictating and influencing our lives, in many times in not necessarily positive ways. So another aspect that you may notice at this time is feeling tired. And if you have been feeling tired, this is definitely due to the processing and the transmutation of the all the emotional energy that is rising within us at this time. It takes a lot of work to do that. And it can be like, it takes a lot of energy within us to really process emotions. And that can be very tiring. I mean, think about how you feel after you have a big cry. You feel pretty tired, right? Because that emotional energy is sort of like you purged it out, right? You pushed it out of yourself. And the process of doing that in itself is exhausting. It's tiring for the body. And usually, you have a good nap or a nice sleep after having a big cry, and you find yourself feeling just refreshed, renewed, and a whole lot better. So shedding process is tiring. Just keep that in mind. I noticed actually last night I had a very light sleep. Like, I was semi-conscious for probably most of the night last night. So I'm always like 2-3 days, before a full moon, or before, especially if there's an eclipse involved, which just like superpowers this full moon. I really notice my sleeping patterns get thrown off. So if yours are thrown off right now, don't be surprised this week. That is perfectly normal. So, and if you feel tired throughout the day, then take a nap. It's okay. It's okay to take 5 or 10 or 15, 20 minutes for yourself and just recharge your batteries. It's again about compassion, right? These emotions are rising, and having the awareness that this is happening within you, and then having the compassion for yourself that I'm not judging myself for being tired. I'm simply going to honor it. I'm going to let myself have a nap if I didn't sleep well, if you feel you need it. So full moon eclipses are all about releasing habits, people, and circumstances that are no longer in alignment with your higher self. So do a little check-in about what is not and who is not in alignment with you at this time. The best way to use this energy is to actively cleanse your body, mind, and soul. So the rituals that I'm going to be talking about next are going to be something you might want to grab a pen and paper for and just write down a few steps for yourself. Very simple to do. It won't take long to do, but very, very powerful, especially during an eclipse. So you can magnify the magic of the eclipse to manifest your dreams with the following rituals. It's like a 2-part ritual here that you're going to do. Everything that you've ever wanted is worth a few minutes of manifestation, don't you think? I kind of made that a little side note there, because sometimes people completely undervalue like clearing rituals and full moon and new moon rituals. People don't really understand how powerful these rituals are and how much of an energy shift you can accomplish by doing a 10-minute ritual or a 20-minute ritual. Like, it doesn't take long. So whatever amount of time that you're going to invest in doing these rituals at this time are going to be amplified times 10, and it's going to give you so much more benefit. And it may not be necessarily immediate benefit that you see right away, but you're going to see it playing out over the coming weeks for sure. And even in the coming months, actually. So the first part of this ritual is going to be a clearing and protecting full moon eclipse ritual. So this one is, you're going to need some items for, so write these down for yourself. You're going to need 4 pieces of either black tourmaline or any crystals that you have at home. I don't want you to have to run out and buy crystals to do this ritual. So if you already have some crystals at home to do this with, then wonderful. Grab 4 pieces of crystal. They could be smaller. It's okay. But just grab 4 crystals. If you have a good size one, that's even better. Obviously, the larger the crystal, the more powerful it is, and the more higher capacity it has to hold energy. But grab 4. And you're going to need a feather. If you don't have a feather, that's okay. And incense. You can burn Palo Santo, sage, lavender, frankincense, or mugwort. These are all going to be very, very helpful to help release yucky energy from your home that could be trapped, either from yourself or from people that have been visiting your home. So those are the 3 items that you're going to need. And then the instructions on how to actually do this, it's basically going to be like a clearing. So we're going to sage your house. That's step 1 for this full moon ritual. So first you're going to light up your sage or your smudge stick, whatever it is that you're using for smudging. And I always start my smudging at the front door. So I go and I light my sage, I go to the front door and carry a little tray, something that will catch the ash as you go around the house, because you're going to need to have this lit and burning the whole time that you're walking around the house and doing this. So I always have a little thing to catch the ash in, and I have my sage usually sitting in there and smoking. I light it, start at the front door, and I go around the front door like this. So frame your doors and your windows with the sage. You're going to go around with the smoky sage or whatever you're burning for every single room of the house as you're going to go through and clear. So you light the sage, you start at the front door, and then you're going to start to walk through. Like I said, pay special attention to doors and windows. So while you're directing the smoke, you can say out loud, and you can use your feather to direct the smoke. If you don't have a feather, it's okay. Just use your hand and kind of waft the smoke in the direction that you want it to go in. And as you do that, then you're going to say out loud, all low vibe energy that does not, all lower vibrational energies that do not belong here, please leave now. Thank you. Very, very simple. So all lower vibrational energies that do not belong here or that do not belong in this home, please leave now. And you just go around and you keep smudging. You're going to repeat this statement over and over in every single room that you go into, so that as you go into that space and as you're smudging that space, you're saying this affirmation out loud. You're programming the vibration in the room, in the space. You're going to repeat this as you walk through the entire house. Like I said, do your hallways, do your bathroom, every single space within the home. Definitely do your basement. Have the sage or your smudge stick burning even on your way down or on your way upstairs. Just keep it lit. Go through the entire space. Once you have gone through the entire house and you've smudged every room, then you're going to smudge your body. So then you're going to just go and find a space where you can sit down for a moment, and then you're going to start at the top of your head and you're going to start smudging your entire body. I just kind of take the smoke and I allow it to really flow all over my body, all into my body, everywhere. And then you're going to smudge your entire body as best as you can, starting with your head. And then you're going to end it by lifting up each foot and just kind of getting under with the smudge as well, so that the bottoms of your feet also get smudged. And then next you can use take your crystals, smudge your crystals as well. Allow the smoke to really kind of wash over them, to cleanse them, clear them. You could do this with each piece. If you don't have crystals, what I will say is, I guess you can just skip that step. I was going to say you could use other stuff, but really, high vibe items would be like, salt lamps or selenite lamps, those kind of things. That actually would also work. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to set up your crystals in the four corners of your house. So try to be as symmetrical as possible, one in each corner. So my house is a rectangle, so then I would have to put one in one bedroom, another bedroom across the way, and then one in the kitchen, and then one in my living room, to make all four corners be covered basically, and have my crystals in each of those four corners. When you're done smudging yourself and the crystals, then you're going to put your smudge stick out so that it stops smoking. Then you're going to place the crystals, as I mentioned, into the four corners. Once they are placed, then you're going to ask the universe to protect the energy of your home and block anything that is not aligned with your higher purpose from entering. That is the first part of this ritual. So you've smudged your home, you have cleansed it, you have cleared all of the low vibe energies from there, all of your own lower vibrational energies from the home, giving it a fresh, completely new energy imprint. Then you have also cleared yourself, you have cleared your crystals, you have set your crystals up, and then now you're prepared for part two. So you've done that, and then now for the release meditation. And this actually is going to be like a visualization that you can do. So find some really nice music. I'm going to link a couple of really great meditation music in the description box below for this part. And to do the release meditation, you're going to really just visualize. So you just kind of need some soft music in the background to play. This comforting meditation can be used during a full moon eclipse to help you release any bad habits, negative people, or unfortunate circumstances that no longer serve you. You don't need anything but a quiet space, a little imagination, and 10 minutes to perform this final ritual. So sit in a quiet space in a comfortable position and close your eyes. So step 1, you're just going to sit comfortably somewhere, close your eyes. Then step 2, you're going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. These are cleansing breaths. So you're basically activating your spiritual body when you do that. Breathing activates the spiritual body. Then you're going to pay attention as you're doing the deep breathing. Just pay attention to your heart rate and just kind of notice how it's slowing down. And spend a moment just focusing on your breathing there, just to really calm yourself and to direct and focus your attention, because that's what breathing actually helps us do. It keeps us focused. Now you're going to imagine yourself lifting up and out of your body and flying through the sky towards the moon. This is when it is especially important to trust your imagination and really use your imagination here. So don't judge how your imagination tries to fly or not. Just go with it. Like, really just try to visualize and really be open here. Once you've landed on the moon in your visualization, take a walk around. So just kind of like, you close your eyes, you're now on the moon, you're walking around, you're just kind of looking around. And imagine that you see a woman in all white walking up to you, just kind of out of nowhere from the moon. So she is one of the messengers of the moon, and she is here to deliver a message for you. Ask her what this full moon eclipse wants you to release to fulfill your full potential, and why now is the right time. Listen carefully and without judgment. So you're just going to ask, what is this full moon eclipse? What does this full moon eclipse want me to release so that I can fulfill my highest potential? And then just pause and give yourself a little bit of time to tune in and to listen for the answer. You're going to get an answer. You always do. Just don't force it. This is all about staying very relaxed and just very focused as you're doing this activity, and very open, so that really truly things can come in, so that you're not blocking anything. So now imagine a manifestation of what you want to release appearing next to the moon lady. So say you want to release negative thinking pattern. Imagine whatever way you want to visualize that. It could be a ball of like energy with all this like crazy scrambled energy inside of it. You can visualize it really however you want. This is about your creativity. So whatever you want to release, you're imagining that next to the moon lady. It can appear however you think it should. If it's a job, then it could be like your boss that you imagine next to her. If it's a bad relationship habit, it could be a former partner that you imagine next to her. The moon lady pulls out a beautiful selenite sword, and you look down to see a dark string connecting you to the habit. So see a cord of connection between you and the thing that you are looking to release at this time. If it's fear, whatever the fear monster looks like, and then imagine this cord between you and that thing. She asks you if she can cut it. You nod and imagine the knife severing the cord, turning it to ash. You hug the moon representative, and she tells you she is so proud of you. Once the ritual is done, allow yourself time to return back to your body. So the cord is there, you see it. She asks you if you would like it cut. You nod yes, or you can say yes out loud if you like. Visualize her cutting the cord, and then just feel the release. I don't know, I usually, when I see that kind of a visual, I actually feel a release. It's just a very subtle shift within my energy field. So once the ritual is done, and you've now slowly returned back to your body, when you are ready, then take a moment and write down as many details as possible, in case you want to refer to it later, about your visualization, what it looked like, what you were releasing. Write down the date of when you did this ritual, all of it. This is just really helpful for you to look back, say 3 months or even less, whatever amount of time, later you look back and you're going to recognize how much has changed since perhaps you did that ritual, or how much maybe hasn't changed, and maybe you feel like you want to do the ritual again. So it's just a very simple meditation. You imagine yourself going to the moon. You imagine meeting this beautiful messenger of the moon. You imagine the thing that you want to help with releasing, showing up next to her. You see the cord that connects you to that thing. She asks you if you want to cut it, you cut it, and then it's done. And then you just close the entire ritual with gratitude, with like a prayer of gratitude. That's what I usually do. So I'll just say, thank you so much for this release, and I'm so done with this, and thank you so much for the lessons that, this issue or this problem or this circumstance or this person has brought into my life, the awareness that I have, and the result of like the learning that I have accumulated because of this. So that's it. It's really, really simple, and it's definitely worth doing. And it really doesn't take long. Like if you just write these steps down for yourself super quickly, then it won't take very long at all for you to do that. So I encourage everyone to do this ritual. This is a very special Scorpio full moon and lunar eclipse. It is definitely once a year kind of thing, not even like this is now. We have it once happening this year in this specific sign, which, like I said, rules our emotions. And really just allow yourself during this week and weekend to allow those emotions to surface, allow everything that you have suppressed to come forward and to release, to be purged, to be transmuted into higher energy. And just flow, like let yourself flow. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching and for tuning in. Thank you for being here and sticking it out. And I really, really hope you guys try the rituals. I definitely will be doing them myself. And I wish you a lot of luck, and I wish you just good energy and peace and joy. And I wish you strength and courage to actually, really be able to get through releasing whatever it is that you need to release at this time, and to release it once and for all so that you can really truly move on from it and have the clarity and the peace of mind and the peace within your heart to really thrive as we head into the rest of spring and summer season for this year. So thanks again for tuning in, for watching. Thanks for hitting a like and a subscribe on your way out. And this Mercury retrograde is messing with my words today, frig. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.